Hello YouTube and welcome to another video and welcome to my channel, The Art of Perfumery. Today I'm going to bring you my take on Bois de Vetiver from the house of Karl Lagerfeld. First of all, what do I have to say about this fragrance? This fragrance is very important because this fragrance brought some light to the house of Karl Lagerfeld. This house was a bit dimmed, people weren't talking much about this house, and this fragrance brought this house back to the table talk again. So people definitely start talking more about this house after this release. And if you ask, what is my opinion about this fragrance? I really think that this is a great fragrance, again, especially when you consider the price. This is a great fragrance. This is very versatile. This smells fresh. It's invigorating. The performance is okay. Again, for the price point, the performance is okay. This is a safe fragrance. And I'd say this is a dumb reach. This fragrance has this clean vetiver. There's absolutely nothing to dislike about this fragrance. Now we go for the presentation. Take a look at the bottle. The bottle looks good. It has a kind of a gradient effect. As you can see, the cap is clear plastic. The bottle is actually very nice, again, for the price. I don't recommend you holding the bottle by the cap, as you can see, even though it looks safe, but it's not safe at all, so it doesn't lock in place. Okay, now we go for the notes of the fragrance, then I'm gonna apply the fragrance and I'm gonna dive right into the review. So at the top we have blood orange, pink pepper and mint. In the middle we have vetiver, rose and also geranium. And in the base we have ambroxan, patchouli and musk. Okay, take a look at the distribution, which is not very good, as you can see. As you can see, only one spray in my hand is actually wet. So I'm not a big fan of the distribution. It's a bit uneven, but again, it's okay for the price. So I'm gonna smell the fragrance and I'm gonna jump right into the review. Okay, the fragrance opens very fresh and also very citrusy as well. It opens sharp and also invigorating with the blood orange and the grapefruit. I would say especially the blood orange. The blood orange is definitely the main player in this opening. I would say the blood orange is one of the main players in this composition because this blood orange is going to last throughout the lifetime of this fragrance. It doesn't matter how far on the dry down, I always gonna get this orange undertone in this composition as well. The opening is very nice. It's also slightly sweet. This is not a very sweet fragrance, but I get some sweetness in this fragrance as well. Around 2 to 3 minutes after the spray, the florals and the vetiver comes to the surface. And I really enjoy the florals, especially the rose. The rose is so nice in this composition as well because the rose is a kind of a dominant note. The rose is not a very loud rose. Actually, this is not a very loud fragrance at all. It doesn't jump out of my skin, but it projects enough to get you notice when people comes around you. So when people get next to you, they're definitely gonna get the smell out of your skin with this fragrance as well. That's why this fragrance is perfect for a work environment because it goes so well for this kind of scenarios as well. And like I said, I really enjoy the rose in this composition because the rose brings some sweet warmth to the composition. And like I said, the rose is not very loud, but is noticeable and is going to dominate this fragrance alongside with the vetiver and also the orange as well. And another reason that I enjoy this rose is because the rose mixes so well with this musk and also the ambroxan. And when it happens, it's absolutely amazing. Because when the rose mixes with the ambroxan and also the musk, it brings this musky, this warm, this sexy vibe, a slightly sweet vibe that smells somehow like skin-like smell, but very nice, very sexy, slightly sweet and warm as well. It's really nice. The vetiver, in the other hand, in this composition is on the safe side. That's a shame because I like more dirty, earthy vetiver. But the vetiver here is very clean, it's very safe, it's not earthy, it's not dirty at all, actually. In my opinion, actually, this mix vetiver, ambroxan and musk, rather than bring a dirty vibe, it actually brings a clean vibe to this composition. This is a very clean and safe vetiver. So some people definitely like this. As the fragrance develops around 15 to 30 minutes in the dry down, the orange finally goes to the background, and when it happens, the fragrance is gonna get a bit warmer. It's gonna get very pleasant with the mix of vetiver, rose, and also the orange as well. But now the orange is only on the background. To my nose, even though this fragrance is called Bois de Vetiver, but I believe that the rose in this composition is even bigger than the vetiver itself. So this should be called actually Bois de Rose, because the rose in this composition is actually huge. This is so true that this composition reminds me a lot another rose bomb composition, which is Déclaration d'un Soir from the house of Cartier. To me, them two roses and them two fragrances are very similar to each other. This reminds me a lot of Déclaration d'un Soir, which is actually a bit deceiving, because when you see a fragrance named Bois de Vetiver, you really expect to get some heavy dose of vetiver, which doesn't happen in this fragrance. All of my fragrance that has vetiver in its name, they're actually heavy vetiver based fragrance. You really get these vetiver characteristics, these well-known characteristics of the vetiver. They are dirty, some of them are smoky, some of them are earthy. Not the case with this fragrance at all. The vetiver with this fragrance is actually very safe. And finally, in the dry down, as the fragrance goes to the dry down, I get this warm, slightly sweet, slightly sexy combo with this rose, musk and ambroxan that gives this almost like a skin-like vibe to this composition, with a very clean and safe vetiver on the background. And also I get an undertone, an orange undertone as well, that brings almost a metallic undertone with this orange that is going to last throughout the lifetime of this fragrance as well. So in the dry down, the dominant notes to my nose are definitely rose, musk, and also ambroxan as well. Like I said, they create this skin-like smell. It's very pleasant, it's very warm, it's sexy, with this clean vetiver in the background and some sort of sharpness coming from this orange as well as an undertone. So this is a very nice fragrance. And finally, the fragrance ends its life with this rose. Now the rose is slightly powdery and musky with a touch of vetiver and also patchouli. Now, if you ask me, what do I think about this fragrance? I would really enjoy this fragrance more if I would notice more the vetiver. If the vetiver was a bit dirtier or a bit more earthy or a bit more smoky, I'd say this would be a bit nicer fragrance. But this is a very nice fragrance indeed. So this is a dumb reach. It's a nice fragrance overall. So we need fragrances like this as well. So this was my review. Now we're gonna go for the ratings of Bois de Vetiver. These are my ratings for Bois de Vetiver. We always start with the presentation. What do you think about this presentation? I think this is a beautiful presentation, especially if we consider the price of this fragrance. The bottle, as you can see, is not very well built. The cap doesn't lock in place, but nevertheless, it's a nice bottle. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for the presentation. We go now for versatility, for seasons. What is the best season to wear the scent? You can wear the scent all year round. But I would say this is probably a little bit too weak for winter. So I'd say summer, spring, and fall as well. But this shines in spring. This is made for spring. We go for occasions. What is the best occasion? This, I'd say the main occasion for this scent is work. This is a proper work scent, a beautiful work scent, because this don't jump out of your skin, so it's not gonna offend anyone, and it smells really nice for work. It's a proper work scent. Also a good date scent as well, because of this combo rose, musk, and also ambroxan. It brings this warm, sweet, skin-like smell. It's very sexy. It's also a very good date scent as well. Perfect signature for everyday wear. This is a night scent, a nice scent for this kind of scenarios. I wouldn't wear this during the night or to go out with friends or clubbing, because this doesn't project much. We go now for performance. How does this thing perform? It projects out of my skin. Not crazy projection, but it projects out of my skin for 2 hours, and it stays on my skin for 6 hours. After 6 hours, I don't smell the scent on me anymore, but nothing to complain. This is an eau de toilette, and it's also a very cheap scent. And finally, we go now for the smell. What is my note for this smell? I'm not a huge fan of this kind of vetiver in this fragrance. I much prefer a smoky or dirty or nerdy or humid vetiver. This is a very safe, clean vetiver. It's very nice, but what saved this fragrance, in my opinion, again, was this combo rose, musk, and also ambroxan that brings this lovely, warm vibe to this composition that is really nice. That's why I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10 to this fragrance. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this review. If you enjoyed this review, please don't forget to hit the like button. And because I'm only starting my second channel in English, your like, your support, your subscribe will be golden. I am Mark Lacerda, and I see you in the next video.